So just in a minute. Okay, he got it right this time. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Medical Mondays with Dr. O. I'm Toyin Okwesami, a family practitioner, HIV specialist, and I treat substance use disorder in Maryland. I enjoy these Monday nights because I learned so much. Today, we have another amazing time with our very own Femi Devin Ayanbadejo Sr. You know, Femi has a lot of accolades, but the very first one I'm going to talk about is that he was Ravens. I'm a big Raven fan, and Femi played for the Ravens, Super Bowl winner. Is CEO of HealthReel. He does a lot of things. He wears a lot of hats. I'll let him do his own introduction properly. But one of the hats he wears that I'll talk about also is that he's a nutritionist. And I have tons of questions for him tonight because I need to change some things in my life. So I'm going to hand over to Femi Devin Ayanbadejo Sr. The floor is yours, Femi.
Good evening, everybody. I think the last time I was on here was it was after my birthday in March, right, Dr. O? We had that party at your house, and then I think I came on after that. Maybe it was April. And I talked about a methodology I didn't really look to create, but my foundation is psychology. I got my undergraduate degree in psychology at San Diego State University, where I played Division I football. And I actually grew up in Northern California. My stepdad did his PhD at UC Santa Cruz. I actually grew up on UCSC's campus in family student housing for about a decade. But that's neither here nor there. But fundamentally, I do believe that psychology, especially when it comes to human performance, athletics, communication, sharing space, building a team, sharing space with people to push a goal or an agenda. I think really understanding psychology is a good foundation to build on. And the first time I came on, I talked a lot about survival events and trauma. That was the topic went much deeper. It started with that, but then we started to talk about how past trauma and what I call survival events, which is completely contingent on the person experiencing said event to decide how traumatic or how difficult a circumstance is, whether it's somebody attacking who you are as a person, attacking your work product, attacking your character, attacking your family. All these little events to me are what I call survival events. And they can be literal in regard to surviving an earthquake, a car accident, an assault, or it could be an attack on who you are as an individual. I won't rehash that discussion because that's its own rabbit hole. And I thought we did a really great job with the people that were on that call. We went to some really amazing places as a group. Today, what I really want to talk about is my company, HealthReel. We are basically a digital health tech company. There's a lot of layers to that. I think what I would want you guys to know first, beyond my background in education and me being a nutritionist, is that I do consider myself a human performance expert, which means that I look at people emotionally, physically, and mentally, and in some cases even spiritually. Once again, spirituality is something that we all must determine for ourselves, whether that's rooted in religion or whether that's something that you observe on your own with God or a higher power. And it's not for anyone to judge that. And so what I try to do is I try to understand where people are coming from mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And I try to form a holistic plan for them to address whatever issues they may be having or get them the help from the proper health expert when my expertise does not fit the bill. So I played 11 years in the NFL, and post-retirement in 2010, opened up my own training facility. That's when I became a certified personal trainer and nutritionist. And after a number of years of that, I really wanted to pivot to the digital side. And so that digital journey began at Johns Hopkins. That's the tie-in here, and why I'm back in Maryland beyond playing for the Baltimore Ravens. I moved back in 2014 full-time, did my MBA, full-time 2-year program. And I walked on campus with an agenda and a capstone. And that capstone was the future of digital health and what I envisioned it to be. And I can tell you, there's a lot of twists and turns and changes and different concepts that I came up with through that process. But what I really wanted to do, high level and kind of the fundamental piece of this discussion, and the help I'm going to be asking you guys for by the time we hit the end of this discussion, is using technology, all the technology at our disposal. And if you think about what's happened over the last 10 years with wearables, health and fitness apps, health and wellness and fitness content, in-home exercise content, the space has really blown up. I believe in 2010, I think digital health was probably a $5 billion business or market in the US. I think it's over 60 billion now. And you can see that there's a race to kind of figure out not just how to create a cute thing that you can mount on your wall, but I think that diagnostics and really assessing where people are is extremely important. And that's the area that I wanted to tackle first, really using a diagnostic tool to then guide people on their health journey. And that iteration and the integration of wearable devices and machine learning and AI, I actually have a tech transfer partnership agreement with NASA as well. I acquired a piece of IP from them that I've been leveraging in some of my assessment tools. So, at the end of the day, what I really wanted to do was make sure that people had something that was personalized to them, that met them where they were, but didn't just give them an assessment. Because if I give you a report today, that report is a derivative of what you did in the past. Any report that we get today is based on action you took yesterday and the day before that, and so on and so forth. What you want to do is give somebody an assessment that talks about what they did and where they are now, but then how about some projection or prescription for the future? How about something that guides them on their journey, that understands what they like to do from an exercise perspective? Are they overweight? Do they have a metabolic issue? Do they understand macronutrients in nutrition? I do think there's many ways to deploy a healthy diet. There's not just one way. I'm not a keto person. I'm not a vegetarian. I'm not a vegan. I guess you can say I'm more of a flexible eater, but I see value in all the different approaches. And it's really, whether it's exercise, sleep hygiene, or nutrition, it's really about finding healthy habits that work for you. And I think at the end of the day, those healthy habits should be rooted in a diagnostic. We should all get some, GPS of where you are from a fitness perspective now and where you need to go. And so I've spent basically the last 10 years working on that explicitly since I graduated from Hopkins in 2016. I've done fundraising. I actually did have an app in beta for quite a bit. But as the environment and technology evolves, obviously, so do ideas. So the premise and kind of the foundational component of this whole kind of impromptu Medical Mondays that I appeared on was I let Dr. O know that I was recruiting participants for a study that I was doing about engagement. And I believe at the end of this, Dr. O, you can correct me if I'm wrong. At the end of this, everyone should get a link to the study and they can participate, and they can also share that link. And we'll say that for the very, very end, because you'll probably have some questions. But this study that I'm doing is for Techstars. Some of you may be familiar with Y Combinator or Techstars. They're probably the two, I would say, most respected incubators on the planet. And I'm not exaggerating. I think that venture capitalists, Silicon Valley, a number of small shop investors really care about the companies that Y Combinator and Techstars bring in, because it's about 1% of the people that actually apply to get into Techstars. So my goal is to get into Techstars with this study. This study is an engagement study for HealthReel, and it starts with onboarding, which is some demographic and some psychographic questions about kind of how you view fitness, how you view your own fitness. Have you seen a health expert? Would you see a health expert? Do you have a wearable device? What apps are you using? That's about a 1-minute onboarding process. And then every day through the month of December, and I'm asking everybody that does this to do 20 days in the month. you're going to get a text message reminder or an email. And it'll basically ask you, did you exercise today? If so, how long? And once again, based on what you're hearing me tell you, exercise is a very broad category. It can be walking the dog, it can be mowing the lawn, anything that elevates your heart rate, any movement that you're doing by choice to some degree, and maybe even not by choice, could be considered exercise. So I'm very loose with that term. And then sleep quality is the other question that you'll get every day. So these two questions will take less than 20 seconds to answer. You'll put in how many minutes you exercised. Actually, you'll get the text today, but it'll ask you about what you did yesterday. How many minutes did you exercise yesterday? How would you rate your sleep quality from 1 to 100 last night? And every day, like I said, through the month of December, you'll get those two questions. And it could be an irritant. And I'm that person sometimes who's getting these SMS pings. And I'm like, who are these people? I didn't opt into this. You were choosing to do this, right? So please, if you decide to do it, your input and that 20 seconds a day or that 1 minute to onboard, it is unmeasurable how important that is for my company and an opportunity for me to get into this amazing incubator. So I know I've been kind of bouncing around. As you guys see, this is all kind of off the cuff. I feel like I'm talking to family and friends, so I'm not trying to be too buttoned up or suited up here, obviously. But I definitely want to take questions. Dr. O, I know you had some questions that you said you had that you wanted to ask me, but I've been bouncing around. I'll be quiet for a second and I'll field some questions.
Great. So thank you so much, by the way. And before I go on, I waited for now to have more people on the forum before I say this. I am chairperson of NAPAC. For people who are not familiar with that, NAPAC is Nigerian American Public Affairs Committee. And I am chairperson for the DMV PD area. You will say, what does that mean? For Virginia, DC, Maryland, Delaware, and Pennsylvania. So why is it important to what I wanted to say before I ask my questions? Because NAPAC is a unique organization. It's an organization that works hard to put our people, our children, people like you, Femi, and others on the table so that we are not eating as crumbs politically. This year, we had amazing success. We had several of our candidates that were elected into office. If we don't have them there, we don't have a say. So why is it important to our conversation tonight? Supporting Femi is putting him on the table. This incubator, it's only special people that can get in there. And they have to do the work, right, to get in there. And this is the work that needs to be done. What NAPAC does is we go over and beyond to support, to put our people where they should be. And we don't get anything back for it other than that, you know, we are there. Our children are there and they're making it. So this is one of those instances, but this has to do with health. I have enrolled in this program. Immediately, Femi called me. I got on it because I wanted to know how he felt, what I was doing. It took, 2 minutes to register. And every day I get those questions. You know, Femi, I didn't read it well. I just understood that, you know, the exercise is anything because I kept writing 0. I didn't do any exercise. And that's one of the questions I have for you, that I didn't do any exercise and I kept writing 0 until yesterday when I thought, wait a minute, I was dancing, you know, the day before. I did a lot of dancing, you know, let me quantify that the best I can. And, you know, I did that. So this program, Femi needs us. We have over 50 people on the forum now. If every single one of us registers and we send this to 10 people, that would be fantastic. And that encourage them. Amazing. Every day, Femi said it's 2 seconds. I think it's like 1 second. It's, you know, how much exercise did you do? You put it on a scale. And then how much sleep did you have on a scale of
1 to 100?
1 to 100.
Yeah.
So you write it there and that's it. Okay, that's it. You're done. Every day you get the text message. It's not annoying like you think. It's not. I actually look forward to it. I'm looking for it like, okay, did they text me yet? And they've been doing that. So please, let's support Femi. And do you want to say something to that before I revert back to?
You want me to answer your question about exercise?
Yeah, before then, somebody's asking for the link. Please put the link there so that I can, I can start, putting it there. So my question on exercise, I telemed a lot now. I do telemedicine where I sit and see my patients, online. And so it makes it difficult to walk around and to carve time. I realized that maybe I need to carve time for exercising and just say 30 minutes a day or something. But I've not been able to do that. What would be your suggestion?
Yeah, so let me define exercise first. So don't underestimate, walking is exercise. Even if you're walking from your office down to grab lunch or to go grab a coffee or whatever you're doing, that's movement. You're not being completely sedentary. So don't be so hard on yourself in regard to what exercise is. I mean, the most important thing is that the body needs to move. And the lowest risk, I'd say the biggest bang for your buck exercise, I do this every day, is walking. I live down here in the harbor. I usually have a loop that I do. It's either toward Federal Hill or it's a loop toward, a lot of you aren't here in Maryland, so it doesn't matter where the loop is, right? Because you don't know what I'm talking about. I'm thinking everyone's like around the corner from us, Dr. O, but ignore that part of it. But the point is that anything that you do, mowing the lawn, and I've seen some people really get into cooking and they get their heart rate elevated. Technically, like I see somebody from the UK. Okay, nice.
Yeah, two people.
Yeah, so exercise can be a very broad term. I think that the kind of fit community, which I am a part of, I think they've hijacked the term exercise and it's supposed to mean punishment. Exercise does not have to be punishment. Meditation, yoga, walking the dog, mowing the lawn. Like I said, anything can be exercise. As long as you're not getting up in the morning, getting out of bed, taking a shower, driving to work, sitting at your cubicle, going home from work, getting in bed and doing that on repeat. If you're doing that, then we have to have a conversation because that's not healthy. But if you are using your legs and you are using your arms and you are moving about in some way that involves you moving from point A to B to C to back to A, then to some degree you're exercising. Now, is that the goal for everybody? Well, everybody has a little bit of a different goal. So I see people are asking for the link. When I get done talking,
please, go ahead and put the link there so I can keep,
yeah, so just to put a bow on this, the walking part is, the exercise piece. The most important thing for this exercise or this experiment is that you just input the numbers. But be thoughtful about what exercise is, because I think an indirect positive net benefit from this is that if you start with 0 and I got you to think along the way and you went from 0 to 20 minutes and then said, you know what, I'm going to walk an extra 5 minutes. I did my job. Okay. When it comes to the sleep component, so I have a wearable that tells me every day how many minutes I exercised and the quality of my sleep. If you don't have a wearable, that's okay. Just guess. Like I said, the most important part of this is to get you to think, but even for me, is just the data. The fact that you opened up the link and you put in something tells these people that have power over potential, startups getting funded, they just want to see that you checked the box and you did it. The number or what you did isn't really going to matter to them. What matters to me is that you think about A, what it means for my company, but B, what it means for you and how you look at sleep hygiene or sleep in general or recovery and exercise. Dr. O, I'm going to go ahead and grab that link and I'll drop it in.
Thank you. So I actually have something. I don't know if it's called a Fitbit, but it's a gift from someone very precious that, actually count my steps. But I was looking for, focused exercise, because what I teach my patients, what I tell my patients is that to do focused 30 minutes exercise at least a day. If it's brisk walking, whatever they do, that do focused 30 minutes a day. Are you putting the link on?
Yeah, I'm copying it from an email.
Okay.
Do you have a pedometer? Do you have a pedometer or the wristwatch?
It's the wristwatch. And my wristwatch, Madam VP, actually, counts my steps, blood pressure, heart rate, and It does a lot of other things. I can connect it to my phone, but I didn't want to do that because, geez, text messages, emails are too much. I just don't want to go crazy. I don't know how people do that. They're looking at their wrist all the time. I didn't want to do that, but it does all of that.
Okay, you guys see the link?
Thank you.
Yeah, the link is in. And feel free to share that with everybody everywhere. There was we've exceeded, we're past 100 people right now. But the first 100 people to actually get to 20 input days are going to win $20 each. So that's a small little benefit. I know that $20 isn't going to make anybody rich, but every dollar can count. But you guys are a little bit behind because there's a few people that started a little earlier. But the way that you can win is just by staying consistent. My guess is that if somebody skips a day, the person who did all 20 is going to jump up ahead of them. So just giving you a heads up.
So when you skip a day, can you make it up?
No, you can't make it up, but as long as you get back on the horse the next day or the following day, like the most important thing is that for the 30 days that this is being run, and I guess in our case, it's going to be 25 or 26, is that you show consistency in regard to like, if just not going a week or 3 or 4 days without responding, like, as long as you're engaged, I'd love for everybody to engage daily for that, 10 seconds, but do the best you can.
Yeah. So I have another question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody talks about weight loss.
Yes.
Exercise, diet, nutrition that you talk about, you've taught us about that on this forum, is to lose weight. How about gaining weight? What can you do to gain weight in a healthy way without eating junk?
Yeah, so you Dr. O, you bring up a very important question that I think gets lost because in the US, 75% of Americans are overweight or obese, right? And so we're always trying to fight the obesity and the obesity comorbidity issue that we see and type 2 diabetes issues that we see, not just locally, but nationally and somewhat globally now. I think that about 8% of the US population is actually underweight, and some of those people that are underweight, it's a mental health issue, and so, in regard to gaining weight generally, the same way that you lose weight, the opposite is true for gaining weight. So for weight loss, we try to put people at a caloric deficit, right? And I'm sure many of you that are familiar with kind of nutrition and the transfer of energy, excess energy in regard to excess weight, you have to basically burn more calories than you eat. In the case of weight gain, right, if you want to do it the right way, one, I would say you should be lifting weights. There's some exercises that are going to help you with weight gain. And when I say lifting weights, it doesn't mean you're going to become a bodybuilder. No, that's not going to happen to you. That's an excuse that people use when they don't want to lift weights. You're not going to become some jacked, huge Hulk-like person. That's not going to happen. So don't worry about that part of it. Lifting weights is great for women, especially women over 50, because bone density becomes a problem down the road. So, in regard to training with weights, and for people that want to gain weight, I think lifting weights and eating at a caloric surplus is going to be the way that you get to that weight gain. And obviously what you eat matters, right? The quality of the macronutrients that you eat do matter. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole on macronutrients. I think generally speaking, most of us know what's healthy and what's not. And if we don't, then we're pretending that we don't because we just want to eat that donut. We know that there are some things that are healthier than others. And nobody ever became obese eating broccoli, chicken, and rice. I can promise you that. So when people talk to me, well, I ate too much rice. Well, what else did you eat? Well, I had a salad. Okay, well, you're good. If you had rice and then you had a bowl of ice cream and a brownie and a bunch of other extra stuff, the rice isn't the problem. It's the sugar. It's the flour. That's the issue, not the rice. And I think we know between Africa, India, and China, there's a whole bunch of skinny people that eat rice all day. I eat rice and oatmeal are my two main carbohydrates. Third would be potato. Complex carbohydrates. There's nothing wrong with rice. There's nothing wrong with potato. There's nothing wrong with oatmeal. And I think a lot of times when we gain weight the wrong way, or for people that are overweight or have obesity issues per se, it's usually those things that are in the sugar and candy section that cause the problem, not the rice, the potato, or the chicken and broccoli. To oversimplify a complex thing.
Thank you. I'm coming back to you. Geez, I have tons of questions. Madam VP, ma'am. Kindly unmute and ask your question. Please raise your hand or put your question in the chat box. Tonight is you're going to get your questions answered.
I'm
Is
sorry,
the way
Dr.
we can get the best bang for our money tonight.
Yeah, Dr.
Yes.
It's not a real question. I'm
Go
asking the
ahead.
question because somebody wants to gain weight. So I'm wondering if these scientists are working on any AI or some kind of app that can transfer weight, because I've got some to share.
So digital, we're in the digital world. So Femi, answer that one.
Yeah. Sorry, that doesn't exist yet. I'm a big Star Trek fan. It might exist there, but it doesn't exist here yet.
That's an excellent question. So, question, Femi. When you said increasing calories, increasing carbs intake.
Yeah. So
you want to eat healthy.
Yeah. So remember that if you want to gain weight, it's not really about eating more. I want to make sure that I preface this appropriately. It's about eating more calories than you're burning. And that's all relative, right? So, I'm extremely active. I usually do a Bikram class every morning. I'll work, and then I'll usually lift weights in the evening. I weigh 225 pounds. I'm 6'3". I'm a big person. A bigger person with more mass is always going to burn more calories than a little person. That's just, that's Einstein. That's just the way that it works, right? But if I want to gain weight, I might have to eat 5,000 calories a day because I'm burning 4,500. So I have a 500 caloric surplus, which then leads to weight gain. The trick with surplus weight, it depends on what kind of weight you're trying to gain. Some people are anorexic or have had eating disorders, and doctors just want them to gain weight. All weight gain in their case is good. For me, maybe not all weight gain is good. I have a lot of muscle mass. I'm already a big person. I probably want to make sure that anything that I'm gaining is very lean mass. So if you show me the individual that we're talking about and you tell me how many calories a day they burn and I have some demographic data on them, I can be a lot more specific about what a surplus looks like for them based on what they do on a daily basis. My routine and regimen is very different than yours. My size, height, weight ratio, muscle mass ratio is going to be very different than yours. All these things matter when it comes to giving people nutritional advice.
This is fantastic. This is why the talk tonight is so important, because we've talked on this forum about nutrition, healthy lifestyle, weight loss, and all of that, but they're not specific. And what you do, Femi, is you tailor what you do to people specifically. Because I remember last time, when you told us to go on your website, you actually personalize everyone. Everyone that goes on that website gets personalized care. And that's what digitalization is, right?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I think the beauty of digital health and health tech is the idea that we can meet the consumer where they are. And I think an intervention or prevention is a lot more likely if you make it easy on the consumer or the person who's looking for guidance and help. The problem that you have is that other people know this, so they're trying to take advantage of your attention and your need for help, right? So unfortunately, I pride myself on repudiating misinformation and false information. There's no shortcuts in this. This is a real thing, but the human body is amazing. If you put a little bit of effort into fixing yourself, your body will give you 10 times the return. But you've got to commit to it. There's no way to sugarcoat that, no pun intended. You know what I mean? Like you have to really do the work. And I think that what I pride myself on as a human performance expert, and I've coached many people in the past, is really getting their mind right for the journey, right? Because this is a journey. This isn't pleasure seeking. Pleasure is dopamine, it's temporary. Happiness is rooted in some regiment and commitment to a task. I want people to be happy. You know what I mean? I don't want people to just look for pleasure in something temporary and fleeting. That's the problem with social media. It's a dopamine hit. It's very fleeting, and it's pleasure-based, not happiness-based. It's not rooted in actually doing the work and understanding the science behind what you've just taken on. But what I can promise you is I've seen people under the worst conditions thrive and become exactly who they want to be, completely self-actualized. I was watching a show on YouTube today, which I tend to do from time to time, and it was about a man that weighed 400 pounds 2 years ago. He weighs 170 pounds today. And he just decided one day that enough was enough. And a lot of the things that I'm talking about from a science perspective, an activity and exercise perspective and a caloric deficit perspective and a quality caloric nutrient perspective, this man was just spitting off the top of his head. He's not a nutritionist, but he committed to a process. And by committing to that process, he learned about that process. And by learning and committing to that process, he lost 230 pounds.
Wow. Wow. So really what you're talking about is lifestyle change.
Absolutely. Behavioral change, lifestyle change. Yes.
Fantastic. So the weight you talked about, for somebody like me, how much weight should I be lifting? Like 3 pounds, 8 pounds?
No, 3 pounds. You know, Dr. O, your bag weighs more than 3 pounds. You know that.
Absolutely.
No, but I know, see, you don't want to lift weights though, huh, Dr. O, right? You don't want to lift weights, do you?
I do.
Oh, you do? Okay, you sure?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, there's no 3-pound weights in your program. You know what I mean? This is what I'm going to say. I don't want to. I'm messing with you, Dr. O, a little bit. But any weightlifting is good weightlifting, right? If you're doing 3 pounds or 30 pounds, I'll encourage you to do whatever you're doing, right? Because the alternative is to not do that probably at all. So I was kidding a second ago, but in general, anything that's going to get you to move, I'm fully for. I'm never going to try to pit one exercise against another because they're all good, right? Because at the end of the day, it's about you moving. As long as you're not risking your health or an injury, I say that as the preface. As long as you're not risking your health or an injury, all exercise is good exercise. And you have to remember that when you exercise, that you want low risk, high reward movements. That's why I love walking. You know what I mean? Because walking is a low risk, high reward thing. Now it takes time and you got to commit to 30 minutes or however long your walk is going to be. In my case, it's usually an hour, but I enjoy it. I listen to music. I think my way through my day. I think about my kids. I think about having these discussions with people, what I'm going to talk about. I just find ways to eat that time up. And you'd be surprised how good an hour in silence by yourself can be for you. Just to clear your own head. It's very cathartic and it's revitalizing. And I encourage people, especially people that can't stop talking, you need it the most. If you can't stop talking, if you're uncomfortable in silence, I will encourage you to go for a walk and reflect and just think about the day and what you want to do with yourself, whether it's your fitness, your life, your spouse, your kids. It's very head clearing for me, and it's a huge benefit from an exercise standpoint. Dr. O, I think somewhere along the way there, I think I ignored your question. Was it about you and lifting weights, right? That's what it was? Yes. So this is what I'll say about weightlifting weights. If you're not familiar with weightlifting, I would suggest that if you have a gym membership, to go seek out a personal trainer. You don't need to buy 10 sessions or 20 sessions. Just pay for 3 days or 4 days.
No, I have you. Why should I go pay for a personal trainer? I'm coming.
Yeah, but I can't come to the gym and train you, Dr. O. That's the difference, though. My point is that if you're really interested in weightlifting, right, you have somebody that can show you the basics, especially if you've never done it before. But yeah, and also too, there is a lot of good videos on form and function of weightlifting and training on YouTube. For those of you that I use YouTube for a lot of resources, but there can be some trash right on there too. So you got to be really smart about what you consume when it comes to some of the stuff on YouTube and online guidance on weight training and nutrition.
Thank you so much. And you know what? I was talking to somebody today and I told them that you are not a hypocrite. Because I saw you in action in Baltimore when Akin sent me to that optometrist and said, you have to go check your eyes out. And what did I run into when I was on the other side? You.
Yep. And
you took me right there to the optometrist, but you were exercising that day. And I'm like, wow, this is good because you do exactly what you say. Auntie Tawa, you have a question, ma'am. You can unmute, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. Okay. My question first is, you're talking about digitalized health. Okay. So with that one, if you are fit and you are doing fine, can you be cloned?
Can you be cloned?
Mm-hmm.
So like legit cloning, like splicing DNA cloning, like that?
Yes, getting another person like me, getting another me.
Wow, you're venturing off into some fringe science that I'm not an expert in.
It's digital.
But guess what? That's not digital. You have to do that in the lab. But technically, it is doable. I don't know from a moral level or from a, the doctor's creed perspective, Dr. O. Maybe you can shed some light on that. I don't think that that's going to happen now.
No.
No.
Then okay, I want to support you because during the COVID, all I could do was walk around my subdivision, and it was a lot better than even going to gym. I lost a lot of weight. I meditate on the way. I just enjoy myself. It's 1 hour. I go 3 times and I'm done. And I lost a lot of weight than even when I was going to gym. So it's good. But about the muscles and the weight, we're talking about, does it have to be the weight with the bar, or can't we just use a dumbbell?
Yep.
No.
Anything with resistance. It could be a band, it can be cables, it can be free weight, it can be a barbell, it can be a dumbbell. I just think that women have shied away too long from weight training because of misinformation on how women build muscle. Like, I promise you, no woman is going to become She-Hulk from lifting weights. I promise you, it's not going to happen. Unless you're doing it for years and years and years, and you really want to do that, it takes a long time to build that kind of muscle. So my suggestion is, and I'm going to piggyback on my answer to Dr. O, is that if you're curious about weights, all of it is good. I don't care if it's 3 pounds or 30 pounds. Anything you do, I'm going to encourage you to do it, and I'm going to encourage you to push yourself. Because as your body adapts to 3 pounds, you're going to need 5 pounds. And as you adapt to 5 pounds, you're going to need 7 pounds. And as you get to 7, you're going to need so on and so forth. Eventually, you'll hit a ceiling, right? But it'd be great if you could find out what that ceiling is. So I would encourage anybody that's interested in weight training, weightlifting, especially women that are on this call that are over 40, over 50. I think it's the best bang for your buck in regard to addressing multiple issues that happen with men and women as we age in regard to the loss of hormones.
Especially the bone health.
Yes, the bone health especially, yeah.
Bone health.
But when you do the weight, how does it get distributed around your body? Because most of the one I use is the dumbbell, and I found that all these flabby things went away. I have a firm arm now, but I still have my butt, which I want to reduce. So how does that one get there?
Yeah. So
every other part of my body is almost they want what I want, but the butt, it runs in the family, and I want to get rid of it.
Send that over. Send down the butt. We'll take it.
Well, it sounds like you have a problem that most people would be envious of, maybe.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, no, I don't want it. I just want a moderate one, cute one, not
Hey, I think
it's
you're
not
doing
flabby, but I just don't want the shooting out. No.
Yeah, I think you're doing all the things that you should be doing in regard to walking and weight training. I mean, if you like the size that you are and you want to lose your butt, you're going to lose everything, because there's no such thing as spot reduction. That's a myth. People think they're just going to lose belly fat, or they're just going to lose fat on their legs. When you lose body fat, you lose it everywhere and you gain it everywhere. Now, genetically, we're all predisposed to different fat accumulation patterns, but in general, when you lose body fat, you lose it everywhere. Your face, your neck, your chest, your body, your butt, all of it. Or when you gain it, eventually you gain it everywhere. You know what I mean? That's just that's the nature of weight gain, generally speaking.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Madam VP wants that technology. Femi, you guys have to work on it, where you can swap fat and stuff like that. You've got to work on it. So maybe the next time it comes on, you will tell us they're working on that.
No pressure, no pressure. Yeah, but we
So, Dr. Kehinde Elisha.
Hey,
So
thanks
nice
so
to
much.
have you.
Thank you, and thanks for the opportunity to be here. It's my pleasure to be here, and what a wonderful presentation, Dr. Femi. It's highly appreciated. And I just have a quick question. So, what do you consider an average weight loss for maybe over a month? What is realistic?
Oh, that's a wow.
I was actually trying to figure out.
And thank you for calling me Dr. Femi. I wish I was a doctor. Maybe one day I will become a doctor. But thank you for that. It sounds good. It sounded good. When you said it, I was like, yeah, let me just do that. I'm just going to lean into that.
I'd rather call you, see, I'd rather rate you high than to call you something lower. I remember my first job as a registered nurse, and this patient saw me and said, "Are you a nursing assistant?" I said, "Oh, yeah. No, I'm a registered nurse." And I felt totally bruised by that. So I rather take people higher, and then they tell me what it is. So thanks so much for correcting me.
Yeah, no problem. So in regard to weight loss, that's a very good question. I think that the amount of excess weight that one has. If you're more overweight, you can lose, because you have to remember that adipose tissue, there's like brown fat, which is like the real dark fat that's usually people have been accumulating for years. And then it tends to get a little lighter and it's got a lot of water in it, right? So usually people are able to lose massive amounts of weight in the beginning because there's a lot of water and a lot of inflammation is going away. So I'm not trying to avoid your question, but I think I pride myself on being articulate and detailed and not using cookie cutter answers for things. I think the real answer lies in how far from a healthy body weight and a healthy body fat percentage is somebody. And what I can say is that the further away they are, the more weight they can lose in a short period of time. And let me give you an example. Did any of you ever watch The Biggest Loser here in the US when it was on? You know,
I did. That was my favorite show.
Yeah, I used to love that show too, because I used to cry during that show, seriously, because I see these people.
Because it's crazy where they come from, and
they had mental health issues. Some of them, they had like stress and depression and anxiety and type 2 diabetes, and their A1C was through the roof, and their blood glucose and their cholesterol was off the chart. And to watch them,
you need to jump back on that show.
Well, it's on. I don't think it's on the air anymore, right? It's not on TV anymore.
No,
right?
That's what I'm saying. You need to jump back on it. Reinvent
Oh, I got you. I'll do it. I'll put the Femi version on.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I think that they pushed the limit, I would say, on that show. So, for example, I can't say names of people because I don't remember the names off the top of my head, but I remember one gentleman. He was 360 pounds. He lost 35 pounds in a week. Now, I'm not saying that's normal, but this is a big man. This is a big man that probably needed to lose 130 pounds, and he lost. No, he needed to lose more than 130 pounds probably, but he did lose 30 pounds in a week. And what did he do to do that? They would wake up in the morning, they would go for a run, they would eat, right? They would lift weights, they would eat a small meal again, and then they would do their night workout. They were doing triple days. How many of us, I mean, other than crazy people probably like me who build their job around working out and making themselves available for calls like this, right? Most people don't have the time to do what they did on The Biggest Loser. So what you've got to do, that kind of slope that they have of that rapid weight loss, you just stretch that out, right? You stretch it out just over more time. Because you can do what they did, you just can't do it in a week. Maybe you can do that in a month, you know, when you're that overweight, right? I've seen people lose a pound a day for weeks.
That's smart.
You know what I mean? So, you know, in a week, a male, a female, depending on how much weight they need to lose, 3.5 to 7 pounds in a week is not unheard of by any means. Even 10 pounds, not unheard of, especially, like I said, if you're far from your target goal.
10 pounds in a week?
10 pounds in a week is possible. I'm not saying for everybody. You have to show me the person, and then I can show you who I can say yes or no, and I can tell you what I think is healthy.
This is the person right here.
Okay, I won't
show you my belly though, of course.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But thank you so much. I got the message. Yeah. At this point, I really say I have the time. I'm not going to take your time. I know there are many other people on the platform, but I feel like I have the time now. I was building for the past 2.5 years. I was building business, and I can tell you the job is sedentary. And apart from the job being sedentary, it was all in the house too. I don't go anywhere. I transitioned completely from being a floor nurse to sitting at home and running a business. So I'm picking calls, I'm the secretary, I'm the janitor, I'm everything. So it took a toll on me, really. I gained weight. So in 6 months, I gained 30 pounds. It was that bad.
The dilemma that you're facing, a lot of people face, so you're not alone on that. Let me tell you, it's not out of the ordinary. It's actually pretty normal.
I thought I was sick.
Especially with women where you are the breadwinner, you're taking care of kids, you're building a business, you're taking care of yourself. And I'm talking to you because I hear a lot of women with your same story, you know what I mean? That are they're putting everybody ahead of themselves. And then eventually there's a bill to pay, and that bill is self-care, and you have to do that. You know what I mean? You don't need to give yourself permission to do that. You just have a little grace with yourself and say, hey, I have a problem and I need to solve it. And it's going to take a little bit of time, but the human body is amazing, and you look young, right? So yeah, so you're young, and to be honest, when I say young, like there's no excuse for age, right? The bottom line is within our sphere of movement, accessibility, our own personal intelligence, we all have a prescription that works for us, right? There is something that works for everyone. You just have to be thoughtful in how you go about discovering it and then deploying it.
Thank you so much. And I fill out the form, so I'll be waiting for the prompts, right? Like, is that how it works?
Yeah, so those of you that filled out the form already, and those of you that haven't filled it out, Dr. O, maybe after this you can email it to everybody.
Yes, I'm going to email it. I was going to say that at the end, that I'm going to continue reposting it in the chat box for people who want to do it right away. It's best to do it right away.
I've done it anyway. It was
So for those of you, that don't know, just real quickly, 30 seconds. I'm trying to get into one of the world's top incubators, and this engagement exercise that I'm doing. I really want first of all, I'm not just a martyr. I'm not just here like doing this for the greater good.
You're representing us.
I am. I was going to say that.
That's why we've got to support. Please, everybody.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that I want Africa, and obviously, my father's from Ijebu originally, lives in Lagos now. I have probably 200 or 300 cousins and aunts and uncles still in Lagos right now. And I've gotten some of them to sign up, but not all of them. But I want Africa, I want Ghana, I want Nigeria in this study. I want to be able to open up that Excel spreadsheet and say, look at my reach. Look at these people. These people here are in West Africa. Maybe we'll get some people in other parts of Africa. I got people in Australia and Canada and Mexico and China and India doing this. And Dr. O was going to help me scale it out to basically to Nigeria, Ghana, Africa, West Africa. Because as of right now, Africa is not represented in a lot of these little kind of studies that people do. So I think it's a benefit for all of us. It's a benefit to me to represent the region and Nigerians here in the U.S., but also that we're taking account for when health and digital health and technology participation is discussed. And this, you guys will get on the map because of that. No break on Sunday.
You've got the best advocates. You've got Dr. O. Because one of the things that is missing in our community is lack of data. And we just make educated guesses on a lot of things. So this is very important. We'll help you spread the word. Forget about the $20. We'll send it to as many people as possible. Because the data is important, and data helps you to make informed decisions. Yes. So we need to know. Yeah. So great job.
Who's that speaking? Who's that speaking?
That's Madam VP. That's Madam Lara Okunobi.
I wanted to see her face because everything she's saying is right on.
She's right on the money. Yes,
because, when I
connected you guys.
When I have meetings,
you mean our fabulous Madam CEO?
Yes.
Yeah. Femi, you were supposed to give me a business consultation, but you didn't respond. Anyway, I'll pick it up with you after this.
Femi, I connected you.
If I didn't respond, it's because I didn't get the message.
Femi, she said everything you should have said to justify what you were asking for. She helped you out.
Yeah.
That is Uncle Taye. Look, I'll tell you.
I second that.
Just Dr. Veronica.
Just to let you know, because we're talking about the data. So when I filled the form, I picked my location here in the United States. Yeah. I don't know if you're really looking for me to pick Nigeria or not.
No.
Okay.
United States. People in the United States, if you live in the United States where you live.
Yeah. You can,
but send it to your network.
Send it to anybody you want to, but don't break yourself to if Dr. O, I think Dr. O is better at the ask than I am. I'm happy that any one of you would do it. And if you would share it with 1 people, 5 people, 10 people would be outstanding.
No, 10.
Okay. So I have about 3,000 members right now in my group. If I want to put it as a headline, what should I say on there? Before I post the link, I need to put something. What should I say?
Yeah. I can send you,
okay, my email is right here, okay?
Dr. O can
Don't worry, I'll link both of you.
Okay.
Okay,
nurse, tonight, right after this program, you're going to get what you need to put on that forum. I'll link you to do that.
Okay.
So let me tell you this. Right where you are in the US, so you are in the US, but please send it to your network in Nigeria, in Ghana, in everywhere, so that they too can participate. And that's where we get the African data. Because honestly speaking, we will live here in the US, we live in the US life. So the data will be skewed if you say you're in Nigeria, because you're not. But send it to your network so that we can get all those Africans here. Haman, you were asking if people overseas can participate in this, in London, England. Absolutely. Yes. And Oji, thank you so much for coming in from London. because it's in the middle of the night for all of you here. There are people from Nigeria on the platform, from Ghana on the platform. And so thank you all for coming and for participating. This is important. We have to get Femi to have the best number. Dr. Elisha, those 3,000 people, we want them, every single one of them. Thank you. Sister Rosemary, you had your hand raised. So please unmute and ask your question before I go into the chat box.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Dr. Femi.
Hello.
Great presentation. Thank you very much. What I'm going to say is that I exercise every single day. I've been doing this for the past 30 years. It makes you feel very good. You just have to motivate yourself to do it. The day I don't do it, I will not feel right. So I dedicate an hour to myself every day to meditate and to work out. You can do it. You enjoy it. You feel so good. You feel so light. I'm 61 years old, going on 62, and I don't have anything. I'm very, very flexible. You know, I weigh 169 pounds. You know, do I have to lose some more weight? Because I just
But you are tall also. You're not showing yourself. We're looking at picture. Even though you look exactly like this, we'd love to see you.
Yes. So I would just, urge everybody to start working out, because I just lost a sister a couple of months ago. She died of cancer. And do not wait to be diagnosed before you start working out. I don't care how busy you are. This is your body. You only have this body. You can motivate yourself, like Dr. Femi was saying. It's all in the mind. If you tell yourself you can, you can. If you say you cannot, you will not. So motivate yourself, get yourself going, enjoy it, love yourself, because you will make all this money, and the next thing you die, you get sick, you start spending all this money to go to the doctor. My sister has 2 houses in Abuja, she has all these things, but she never had the time to work out to exercise. I do not play with exercising. I stretch and I exercise every day. No arthritis, no nothing. So you can do it. If you tell yourself you can do it, you can do it.
Thank you.
I challenge every one of us here to do it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for that contribution. Dr. Elisha, did you have a comment or a question? You have your hand raised.
Oh, sorry, that was previously. Sorry, let me.
Previously. Okay, no problem. So, Femi.
Yes.
My sister Mary is asking, Fitbit, Apple Watch, they said, oh, it's Dr. Elisha asking if you please share the wearable you were talking about.
Yeah.
And she was suggesting Fitbit, Apple Watch. And
so keep in mind that when it comes to the way that my company engages wearable devices, we'll engage any wearable device. Okay, so just have a wearable device. If you're asking me what I think the best wearable device is for ease of use, easy interpretation of information, and kind of a closed network that doesn't have you jump through a lot of hoops, I think Fitbit is the best. I really do. I know that a lot of people think it's Apple. Apple's a great brand. They're great at marketing, but in regard to just functionality, easy information, and an easy, simple experience, I think Fitbit is the best. And I've used all of them. I've seen all of them. I didn't go into it with any inkling of who was going to be the best, but I think over the years, I realized that Fitbit really does do a good job. And by the way, there's Garmin, there's Samsung Watch. If you're asking me my opinion, the best one, I say it's Fitbit. If you tell me that I'm gonna get one, but I don't know which brand, just get one, because I think the information will get you to think. And once again, like when it came to exercises, I never want to pit one exercise modality against another, because they're all good. And I don't really want to pit one activity tracker or wearable against another. They're all good. But like I said, if you're asking me which is the best, I'm going to go with Fitbit.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Is that the question?
I just remembered something. When Dr. Elisha was talking about how much weight loss should I lose weekly? What I tell my patients is, if you can lose 1 pound a week, 4 pounds a month through lifestyle changes, not fat diets, that you do, and then you're going to regress. We're all human beings. You're going to get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm craving what I'm not eating. And then you'll gain all that weight back and you'll feel worse. When you go through lifestyle changes and you decide to stick with it, if you lose 4 or 5 pounds a month, it's fantastic. It's consistent and you'll keep it, you'll be healthy. So I think it's an attainable goal. It's not stressful. What I see my patients do who mean business is they actually lose double that, you know, because they're not trying too hard and it's not difficult. So for whatever that is what, but you're right, it depends on individual. It depends on individuals. You have to tailor what you're doing to that individual. And I'm not expert at that. Thank God for you. Lady Hannah, Dr. Hannah said, Mr. Femi needs to go virtual service too. I agree. She said that when I said, I have you. You have to incorporate virtual services.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So people can tap into that.
Yeah, no, that's going to happen.
You don't have to be in the gym.
Yeah,
Let's go virtual.
Yeah, so let me give you a 30,000 foot snapshot of my vision for what my company looks like.
Okay.
So in my version of this relationship between consumers and a service, the consumer owns all the data, first of all. It's my job to aggregate that data, dissect that data. And if I make money off that data, then that consumer should also make money with that data. Of course, in a secure and anonymized fashion, of course. That's the first part. The second part, if you think about, if there's an app that I could kind of use as a comparable, I would use Uber. Think about Uber, where Uber has a pool of drivers. That pool of drivers is probably a 20th or a 25th the size of the pool of passengers they're looking for rides. You know what I mean? So there's this network of people that have cars, there's these people that need rides, and what the app does is it matches them up. What I want to do is, before you even are able to get access to the driver, who in my world is a health expert, instead of a driver, they're a health expert. And when I say health expert, I mean agnostically. I mean that you should be able to get access to a mental health expert, a nutritionist, a personal trainer, a life coach, a registered dietitian. It doesn't matter who it is. You come onto my platform, the first thing I do, what did I start this off with? A diagnostic. The first thing we do is we understand who you are and we understand where your problems are. And then we give you goals, and then we match you with a health expert if you want a health expert. If you don't want a health expert, they'll be there to give you that ride when you're ready. Or you can walk and do it on your own. That's just the analogy, right? You don't have to have the health expert, because the app will continue to assess. It will continue to give you recommendations that you can deploy on your own if you feel confident. But there's no shame in asking for help, and there's no shame in taking it, right? So let's remember that. Humans always do better with other humans helping those humans do better. That's a fact.
Yes.
The next thing that I'll say is that adding rewards and a gamification to this in the psychological world makes things very sticky and increases the long-term value of that customer staying on platform. This is more for the venture capitalists and the investors, right? So my thought process is that this is called move to earn. And so in Dr. O's email, she talked about learning, burning, sleeping, and earning. That's the fundamental kind of vision of this whole thing that I'm doing. The whole idea here is the learning is the diagnostic, getting you to understand where you are. The burning is getting you to move and rewarding you for that. Now that could be, once again, please no one lose their mind around this. Some people are against cryptocurrency, but I think cryptocurrency has a role in a protected environment where it's used to buy things that are being sold with partners that are buying in to this kind of token economy, which is, see, I'm gonna start going down a rabbit hole. So just think of rewards, like don't get caught up in cryptocurrency, but cryptocurrency is one form of reward that you can convert to cash, gift cards, or services. Just think about it that way. So when you do the assessment, you get rewarded for it. When you exercise, you get rewarded for it. When you hit certain sleep targets, right, you get rewarded for it. So this is all the learning, the diagnostic, the burning is the exercise, the sleep you get rewarded for, you're earning for all these. Dr. O, back to what we talked about. This is about lifestyle change and behavior. We are rewarding good behavior. Now, the assessment is going to continue to analyze and tell you, it's going to change as you change. The recommendations will change as you improve, right? So we're not going to reward you for losing weight. We're going to reward you for the habits that lead to weight loss, right? That's the goal here. And those habits are exercise, sleep, and nutrition, right? Anybody can get rewarded for saying a scale says something. I don't care about what the scale says. I want to know what that wearable device is telling me about your behaviors, because a scale is just the outcome. I want to know about those inputs. Did you do all the inputting you were supposed to do and all the requirements to lead to that weight loss? How do I know that weight loss is real? That's why I removed that as a reward mechanism. What I'm using as a reward mechanism, you can't lie about. No one can lie about. It's literally on your wrist, and that's pretty much uncrackable in regard to kind of the methodology behind a reward system. I hope that all makes sense.
It does. Positively reinforcing positive behavior.
Yeah. And then having, back to the idea of having health experts and virtual coaching, that'll all be on here. Everything that you would do from a health perspective, we're actually going to have a GPS. My hope is that we partner with one of the gyms that has a national footprint. And for people that want to train with somebody in person, we match them with somebody within their city. And for those that don't want to work with somebody in person, they just choose from the different health experts that are on platform, and they choose them for their expertise and whatever that expertise is: weight loss, weight gain, personal training, life coaching, mental health. Everybody will be on platform in that case. So it will be very highly virtual, mainly virtual platform, probably 95% virtual.
That's fantastic. You know, we've talked a lot on this platform about these lifestyle changes and how when you change your lifestyle, it actually resolves, in some cases, high blood pressure, diabetes, cure, in some cases, kidney failure, and the list goes on. But the side effect is weight loss. That's exactly what you're saying. That's why you don't care about the scale. You do what you need to do the needful, and it will reflect in your weight. Do the needful, you will save your life, you would have excellent health, and weight follows because they go synergistically. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for, expanding that so that we can attain, better knowledge. Sister Mary said, how will you advise someone with low back pain to lift weight? That's an excellent question.
So with somebody with no back pain?
With low back pain.
Low back pain. Okay, yeah. So I would say that if you have chronic lower back pain, first of all, we need to figure out why. Is it a disc issue? Is it a skeletal issue? Is it a muscle issue? Is it all three, right? So do you have an acute injury that you are aware of that led to that back pain? Or is it just over time? It could be a repetitive movement. It could be from sitting too long. I have chronic back issues from playing football. I manage them, and I'm, you wouldn't know if you saw me, but I do meditation work, I do flexibility work, and I lift weights, weekly, multiple times a week. I do these things. So I know how to manage my injury. A very important thing for lower back pain too is hydration. That's the thing that I notice immediately is any injury that I've ever had. I've had surgery on my foot and my knee. I've had a few epidurals, cortisone shots in my lower back from my L4, L5 herniation in my back. And I can tell you right now, the minute I get dehydrated or I'm not staying on a clean regimen, which is okay because, we got to enjoy ourselves once in a while, right? The first thing that hurts is my back and wherever I had surgery. That's the first thing that hurts. So as soon as I start getting hydrated and I get back on my supplements and back into a healthy routine, that pain usually subsides. But my back pain is chronic. And so I know what it comes from. I know what triggers it. So when it comes to lifting weights, if you feel pain, you should not be doing it. That's the first thing I'm going to tell you about lower back pain. If it hurts, you don't do it. When it comes to your neck, your back, and your knees, if it hurts, don't do it. Now, that doesn't mean if your muscles are fatigued, like it hurts, so I'm not going to do it. No, that's different. I'm talking about acute knee joint pain or lower back legitimate pain or neck, like cervical spine pain. There's a difference between being fatigued from working hard and there's pain, right? So the first thing you want to do when it comes to lifting weights with the back is make sure that whatever you're doing doesn't inflame that issue. But without going down a rabbit hole on that, if you don't know what the issue is with your back, and if I said something that's going to trigger some thoughts about how that injury occurred, or if it's just something that's just been getting worse over time, my suggestion is you get that checked out before you go to the weight room trying to do anything like really serious in the gym.
Thank you. Thank you. So brother said West Africa is guaranteed already for this program. And he is telling us that West Africa is the headquarters for this program. Brother, I'm going to revert back to you because I'm going to check with Femi where he gets the most participants. He had better be West Africa. We want to do it. Madam VP is right. We want to be there. We want to be at the table. And he's saying that, say this to all your friends, this is one of ours. And we are all on board. Dr. Elisha is talking to you that you say, when you putting this out to that platform, that this is one of ours. And we are all on board, not by words, but by signing up. This is the key and very important. I'm not lying to you. It's a 2-second thing, if that. Every day.
With Dr. Elisha, I already sent her the link and an email. And Dr. Elisha, you can add your own heading to that. You can edit as you see fit. What I sent you was a snippet that I'd sent to a local business around here, and I got rid of their heading, and I just figured it would be a good start, and you could just kind of take that and edit it, do what you want with it, and you could share it as you see the need.
Okay, actually, I wasn't sure when you will have time. So my restless hands, I couldn't help but post. So I posted already.
Oh, you did? Okay. All right. Well, all right. Well, you'll have 2 emails from me in your inbox already. So
no problem. I'm going to show you actually what I post right now, if it's okay with everybody in the group. It's not something. I'm so sorry. Please. I tend to be inactive. I tend to be overly active. I'm never a stranger anywhere. So excuse me, being my first day and getting all involved.
No. Please feel free.
I guess
medical Mondays is
so. Thanks for the opportunity, ma'am. So look, I posted. What time was that? Did you put a time on it? There was no time on it. But anyways, look, 15 minutes ago, yeah. As I was speaking, I was actually posting. I said, "What are your weight loss goals? Please fill out this assessment form. Thank you." But I will now take whatever you send to me, and I will take care of it. And that is the platform I was talking about.
We want more. We want more there. Like this
Correct,
is
definitely.
This is important. It's a 2 seconds activity every day for at least 20 days.
No problem. I'll do so. And this is like 3.4K members.
And when they click on the link, there'll be that description, Dr. O, that'll tell them exactly what they're getting into. Because maybe some people say, "Hey, I don't want to do it," which is fine. I get it. But it's very, very simple though. And that little descriptor, when they click on the sign up link, it'll explain everything.
Yeah, I will go with your email and update for sure. I can easily edit and just fix it up.
Yeah, no problem. I'm just happy you're doing it. Whatever you can do.
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And by the way, Dr. Elisha trains nurse practitioners who want to do their boards. If there's a nurse practitioner here who is done and is getting ready to take the board certification, she's your point person to help you. So
thank you, ma'am.
Brother said, there's no personal interest here, by the way, but Sam's Club has all the Fitbit items on sale right now till December 25th. Savings from $30 to $70. So you may want to check that out so that you can monitor yourself. I have mine that counts how many steps, takes my blood pressure, my pulse, you get me mad. I'm looking at my blood pressure to see, did you affect me? I'm kidding. So some people have signed up. Auntie Susan said, this is definitely a brilliant take. Thanks, Femi, for the education. She's my auntie, she's my big one. Said, looks like people like me, the over 70s, must go digital. Our peaceful old habits have to go digital. Dr. Ho, please help me out on this. Thanks a lot. I'll revert back to you, ma. So, Femi, going back to the question of weight gain.
Yes.
And diet. You talked a lot about exercise, lifting weight to get that. And what you get is the is the muscle mass. Muscle mass is heavier than, the fat and
And
all of
fat
that.
and water.
And I
Yeah.
think that's what, and it also helps the bone. You toned, you avert osteoporosis, even osteopenia, you can resolve from weightlifting. But what about the diet, increasing that calories? When you have somebody who just does not have affinity for the donuts and the junk anymore, whose diet is healthy, what would you recommend to add to that diet to increase weight a little bit? I'm talking about, say, maybe even 10 pounds.
Well, if somebody wants to gain 10 pounds, like let's say over the course of 6 months to a year, right? The first thing I would do is I would increase their protein intake. And so, I'm lucky. I have a Whole Foods like right here, right? And you don't have to have a Whole Foods. If you can find a way to just get one more nutritious meal in a day or a shake. I love shakes. I have protein powder that I use. I mix some greens in there. I throw some fruit in there. I might throw some oatmeal in sometimes. I think that's a good way to get an extra meal in if you're having a hard time, because some people that have problems gaining weight, they have problems getting enough food in, right? A good way to supplement some of that food intake is through liquid means. And I think a shake is a really good way to go about it. And if you're in the weight gain mode, you don't need to be real strict. Like I'm a picky eater. So my pickiness tends to make me strict, not because I want to be crazy and strict. It's more because I just don't like a lot of things. So, for people that are pickier eaters, having a shake or having some fruit or keeping things simple is probably right in your lane. So, find a good protein powder, maybe find, maybe grill some extra chicken breasts or, whatever your protein, your meat of choice is, have a little extra in the fridge, that you can just kind of heat up and have as a snack. Because if you want to gain good quality weight, it's going to have to come from kind of good solid food. Like, don't let empty calories fill those extra calories, right? Once again, going back to like the baked stuff and the candy and the sugar and the salty stuff that's not the good salty stuff that we should be eating. Don't let your extra calories come from that, because once again, you are what you eat. I mean, that's a fact.
Well, that is true, but the protein shakes, don't they come with a lot of sugar? And they talk about, kidney issues. Sometimes you have to be careful with the protein shakes. Are there particular ones that are not sugary and that won't affect the kidneys?
Yeah, so the sugary part is very easy. The first ingredient should not be sugar. You know what I mean? And for the most part, like most of the protein shakes that I buy, they have almost no sugar at all. So when you see like a high, like when it says grams of protein and it says, 15 or 20 per serving, and the carbohydrate says like 2 or 3, you're good. Even if it says 10, you're probably good. Now, if the carbohydrate says 40 and the protein says 20, that's not a protein shake. That's just a shake. You know what I mean? I mean, you're getting some protein, but you're getting a lot of filler in that. So the best way to get tipped off on sugar is to look at the carbohydrate in grams, because right next to protein and fat, you're going to have your carbohydrate. So look at the ingredient list, and sugar, for the most part, it'll say sugar, or I'm trying to think of the different terms they try to sneak in on you. That's basically sugar. You know what I mean?
High fructose corn syrup.
Yes. Yeah. You want to avoid all that, right? So the grams on the carbohydrate is going to tell you if it's a clean protein or if it's a filler protein. That's the kind of the best way to look at it.
Fantastic. So what about the kidneys?
Oh yeah, the kidney part. Yeah. So I think the studies that I've seen on kidneys is when people have these high protein diets, but they're not drinking enough water and they're not eating enough fruits and vegetables, right? And not enough fiber. So most athletes, as obviously I was, we have a pretty high protein diet because we're trying to maintain our muscle mass, right? But we also support that protein with a lot of electrolyte and water, as well as fruits and vegetables and carbohydrate. If you're going to eat a lot of protein, you want to make sure that you're including fiber and water in your diet, because those are the things that are going to kind of keep your system clean and keep things going. So when it comes to protein intake, and I don't think anybody's going to, in my opinion, based on what I know from this group, I'm not overly concerned about people overdoing their protein, but just remember to keep your water and your fiber up.
Okay. Whew. I got work to do. Oh, when you have high metabolism, mad high metabolism, it is something else.
Yeah.
So
That's a good problem to have, though.
you think so?
Yeah. I do.
Okay, if you say so. But I'll
Yeah.
say something. Femi, I've seen a lot of athletes, be it basketball, football, what have you. After they retire, they put on weight and they don't look the same anymore. You have looked fantastic. You are exactly what you've described here. You know, you look fantastic. Even with the chronic back pain, you said, you know, I know we've talked about that.
Yeah, it
before.
doesn't stop. Yeah, it doesn't
It
stop
doesn't
me.
stop you from doing anything.
No.
So is it consistency? What is it?
Yeah,
What's
it's
the
consistency.
secret?
So first of all, like, you know, it's my job, right? This is my job, right? So I everything that I have chosen to do from an occupational perspective is because I enjoy it, right? I don't have to turn myself into something that I'm not to do this. It's who I am. If I wasn't doing this for work, believe you me, I would still be out walking, working out, lifting weights, doing yoga, doing meditation, because I enjoy it. I love it. I see the value in fitness, and I see the value in high function as you age, right? And a lot of that has to do with maintaining muscle mass and flexibility, as well as hydration. So I think that it's important to, one, I'm going to keep banging this drum about diagnostics and kind of understanding where you are from a mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical health perspective. You have to be really honest with yourself. And I think as humans, once again, you know, especially for those of us that are caretakers that are bringing home the bread and cooking it and taking care of kids, we tend to put ourselves last. And the best way to take care of your family is to make sure you're around as long as possible, right? So, you know, they say on a plane, you know, you put your face mask on first, you put your seatbelt on first. Well, hey, think of your health as putting your seatbelt on first, or putting your mask on first, so you can help those people around you. You've got to take care of yourself. And I think that understanding that it's a marathon, not a sprint, and really committing yourself to those little behavioral changes. And it doesn't mean you shouldn't have fun. It doesn't mean you shouldn't eat pizza or cake or brownies or ice cream here and there. Yeah, you definitely should be able to, but you should earn it. I believe that a lot of the things that I consider like a cheat day or a cheat meal, I earn those things. Like I have a kind of a self-check tool that I ask myself, did I earn that? And if I didn't, for the most part, then I don't have it. And I wait till I've earned it. And that could be on Saturday, that could be on Sunday. Usually I have like one cheat day a week. That's kind of how I've done it. And some weeks I don't have any cheat days because I just don't feel like I need it. If you don't need it, then keep it in the back pocket for when you want it. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's definitely a marathon. It's definitely a long-term kind of prospecting, really thinking forward. If you only think about the inch in front of you, you're never going to see the bigger picture, right? You're not going to get out of your own way. You have to kind of pick your eyes up and see the forest from the trees, right? And I think health is that way. You got to think long-term. We can't always be indulging. We've got to restrict ourselves once in a while so we can actually enjoy, you know, that, once again, going back to happiness versus pleasure, right? Happiness is rooted in a regimen and a process, in my opinion. Pleasure is a dopamine hit. It's fleeting and you're always chasing it. And it's never going to be good enough if it's based on pleasure. But if it's rooted in happiness and a goal and a process, I think that's going to last you a lot longer.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Femi. Do we have any other questions, contributions? Sister Natasha just posted, in the beginning, exercise does not feel good. But once you are consistent, it becomes a joy. That is true.
That is a fact.
In fact, when you don't get it, then you get cranky. So
may I say something, Dr. O?
Yes, please go ahead.
I wanted to say, because we were talking about back pain, and I had some really bad back pain to the point where sometimes I would be in bed. If I turned, it was spasm so bad. It felt like a knife was being stuck in my back. It was that bad. But I started exercising regularly for the last 7 months. And I decided that, you know what, I love sleeping in the morning. I work remotely, so I don't have to get up early. But I said, well, you can stay in bed and stay unhealthy or you can sacrifice the 1 hour of sleep and then get to the gym. And I tried different things, and I found out that you have to find what works for you. So I had the equipment at the home, that didn't work. I tried the videos, watching the videos. I did it for a little while, that didn't work. But if I get up, I get dressed, and I go to the gym, that works. So I do it the first thing in the morning. If I wait till after work, I'm not in the mood, I don't do it. So know thyself, what works for you. And after I did consistently I just did like 5 minutes at a time. I would go to the gym. I did 15 minutes. I thought I was dying. And then there was the next month. Sometimes I was tired. I was sleepy, but I would go anyways. And I'm like, it just needs to become a habit. And then now it is a habit. So I get up and I go and I enjoy it. And what I would say to people when you're first starting off and it feels hard, there's never been a day that I've gone and exercised and not left feeling better. So you will always feel better after you do it. And my back pain, I don't even think about my back anymore. It just disappeared. Once in a while I get a little bit of thing, but it's like 90% to 95% so much better. And it's because of the exercise. Then you tend to drink more. I'm more mindful. Sometimes I do like to eat my stuff, but I'm more mindful of what I'm eating, because I notice like the next day when I go to exercise, if I ate heavy duty things, I'm not as light. It's heavier for me 24 hours later. So that kind of helps me to maintain not staying away from very starchy food and things like that. My weight has not gone. My legs were swollen and the swelling has gone down. I stretch every day. So it really does make a difference. And don't let it depend, you're exercising, on how you feel. No matter what your feelings are, when you get up in the morning, you brush your teeth. And that's what I tell myself. So no matter what my feelings are, I'm going to go exercise. And it really does become a joy. And I listen to music. It's a beautiful way to start the day. And if you're trying to catch your breath while you're exercising, you don't have time to think about problems and all that, because you're just breathing, you're concentrating on catching your breath. So it has a lot of benefits to it. So I would encourage people to do it. And thank you for this talk. It's really very enlightening.
Thank you so much, Sister Natasha. And, what you just said raised some questions in my mind, and I'll ask Femi in a minute, but I wanted to say that exercise is actually one of the things we prescribe for back pain. Believe it or not, exercise helps your back pain, helps to resolve it. So you're on the right track. And it also helps your brain.
Very true. It lifts your mood. It lifts your mood and everything. Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Madam VP, you can call her Madam CEO also. You can unmute, please, ma'am. There you go.
Thank you so much. It's been a fantastic session. While there's no silver bullet to fix everything, and people have given a lot of, I would call it testimonials, not necessarily prescriptive, but I'm going to add to that recommendation by saying that, you can try to form a community of practice. If maybe you need an accountability partner, or you need 2 or 3 people that will motivate you, because sometimes it's very difficult to self-motivate yourself and just get up and do stuff. Everybody knows what the right thing is supposed to be. But if you have not formed that kind of habit in a long time, it's very easy to retreat back into the bad habit. And when you do something good and you see it's going, you're swearing yourself, oh, I'm going to do this every day. It's a question of time. Why do we make New Year resolution and by the 15th of January, everybody's back to doing whatever they're doing?
15th, the 10th of January.
So, you got to figure out what's going to work. If you need someone, people that have spouses, maybe it's easier. The couples encourage each other. Oh, yeah, come on, let's go and walk. But when you don't, when that's not available, you're going to have to find something or someone else that can probably give you a call and say, hey, on my neck of the woods, I'm going to do you don't have to be together to do the walk, but you need someone to kind of, motivate you. It's like riding a bike. Before you can now balance yourself, when it becomes a habit, a good habit. So there are many ways to get there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Dr. Aluya, kindly unmute.
All right. Good evening, everybody. This has been such and intriguing, interesting, exposing, and maybe another word, elucidating talk. And of course,
By the
we're
way,
learning.
Dr. Aluya, please let me
Yes.
properly introduce you. He's the national chair of NAPAC. He's a national president, not chair, a national president of
Well,
NAPAC.
and that's my very able chair, with whom I'm well pleased, like others who are on the forum as well. A whole lot of them there. And this is what we do at NAPAC. We support one another, strengthen one another. And I came in right from the beginning. And from what she had said earlier on, before I go into the nitty-gritty of what I wanted to talk about, is that NAPAC, I'd love to say this, that we identify, support, encourage, and mentor great minds with the capacity and the trust to lead, and lead in the area of policies and politics, health, youth and women empowerment, structural development, and human capacity building. So that's what we do. And that's why you see a whole lot of us in different spaces. But because of Dr. O and people like her, we have become so well endowed with knowledge that we almost can talk about almost everything everywhere and every place. But outside of the political space that I do, I'm also a physician and CMO of one of the federal health qualified centers here in the state of New Jersey, where my eyes have become so open to what it is with the direct effect of disease, access to healthcare, poverty, lack of education, lack of social structural support, and all the whole things that affect us as a people. But then not just that, some of you hear me tie it up with the genetics and the anthropology of it all the time. Now, before I go into, I love the topic of science, technology, and the future is what I really imbibe in. And I must say a huge thank you to Dr. Femi. You have done such an incredible
Look,
job.
you're a doctor, whether you like it or not.
Right, we claim that for him, and he's done such an amazing job. And of course, I would throw myself at your feet humbly to help you do what you do to expand it, because that's the space upon which I work as well. I identify those who are taking charge and leadership of their individual spaces and finding innovative ways to solve problems that come out of it. And you have done that. You've taken charge and leadership of your space, and you've looked for innovative ways in solving problems that come out of it. Because like you said, you have done this not just for yourself, but to also bring us as a people, when I mean people of African descent, to the table that a lot of the times we're really missing. But before I go into that, really, on the issue of cloning, one of my sisters talked about cloning. Yes, you can't be cloned. Some rogue physician, scientist cloned a girl.
Okay, but we have to clone Dr.
In China,
first.
and there's a whole lot of story. There's a whole lot of story with that. It's a moral and ethical issue, and the whole world went agog with it. Because, and I'll tell you, because again, I like to tell people a history so that we understand where we're coming from, why it's important that we as a people stand on platforms where we take charge and leadership and represent our people. Now, there's what they call CRISPR. CRISPR is a long-term, coded term for stuff, but what basically it does, they've been able to do, what they do is they take the DNA, splice it up, and reconnect that DNA. So they can take a disease that runs in your family, splice the DNA, take away if it's sickle cell, they take it out. If it's code for Alzheimer's, which will begin to look for the DNA and all that, and take them all out and reconstruct it, fill it up, and close it back up, and then begin to produce another human being as well. They've done it. This gentleman, rogue scientist, came here to the US and learned about it, and then just ran to China and did it. The whole world went agog with it, and it was a moral and ethical issue, and opened up a huge Pandora box that I'm sure a lot of things are going up right now as we speak, but they are still covert. Whether it's government sanctioned or non-government sanctioned, I know some government are sanctioning these things anyways. We know that, good or the bad ones. But yes, these things are happening. And CRISPR came out of the knowledge by some Japanese individuals. So what did they find? They also found out that bacteria gets infected by viruses. Viruses, if you take the size of a bacteria, the size of a car, a virus will be the size of a cell phone. So you can imagine a virus affecting bacteria and killing the bacteria. They take up the bacteria's DNA, splice it up, and kill the bacteria. But guess what? Bacteria, they now say, you know what? We don't want to die, as you guys want to come kill us. So what did they do? They coded a gene that would help as the virus comes in. They code the gene that they'll splice their own DNA so that it will now change the modality of which the virus recognizes, so that the virus can no longer kill them. So some Japanese scientists found that out and then shared that information to some Americans who pushed it on to another level, and it's science now. And I remember when they first said, oh, you know what? We have this technology, it's CRISPR, we're going to use it. I know, we're going to use it, but they're going to use it to fix. I know, right? We're going to fix stuff. But then, only to find out that people could use it they wanted to initially start it with sickle cell. And I remember when they said this, and I said, look, of all the diseases that are out there, nobody has done anything for the research of sickle cell for over 40 years. Why do they want to use CRISPR for sickle cell now? And what's the ethical reason behind it? But that's a different story.
Dr. Aluya, we would have to do that on another subject, so we can stay on this platform.
Right. Okay.
On this lifestyle platform.
So let me go. No, but you see, I'll tell you why what she's doing is important, and I'll say this thing quietly, and we'll let it be. Technologies that are coming, and that's the space where he is, and he's doing that. Now, the technology I only brought up CRISPR so that we know the issue of cloning. I've always said that some people hear me say that there are 5 technologies that come in the future that we must pay attention to. 5 of them. And it will alter the way you and I interact with one another and how we interact with our environment. And this is affecting medicine in every space, anywhere. In the medical field, it affects other things, but in the medical field, it affects this. The first one is artificial intelligence. Things are changing, and AI is reading labs, reading everything. So you need to know how that would affect us. The second one is blockchain technology. And the blockchain technology that's come up, and he mentioned a little bit about that earlier on, where information, especially patient, health information, are coded and kept safe so that people don't break into information in hospital. Data is the next currency. And as long as he was mentioning something earlier on, that where you can even, the things that you do when you sleep, you should be able to make money. And that's why people will proliferate on data and use your data to sell and make money. But you too should be able to do that. Now, blockchain has the capacity to do that. Now, the next one is 5G, or the next G that is going to come out. Speed and accuracy. The speed at which you gather this information is so important. And that's why how we process the information, even his data is going to get, how it processes makes a whole lot of difference. Because that's the reason why the US is fighting with China every day with regards to who controls the speed of which we collect data. Now, the fourth one is cryptocurrency. In the future, in medicine, doctors will be paid with cryptocurrency. Patients will pay There are healthcare issues with cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. Forget whatever you're hearing right now. It's here. It's right now up to $10 trillion business. They're all just trying to find ways of regulating it. And once they find out, it's out there because those who control it still control it and control power. Now the fifth one is the mRNA technology that's out there. It's going to be used to solve a whole lot of issues, a whole lot of diseases. Now, when it comes to exercises, I'm a big proponent for exercise. I exercise every day, because I don't want to take no medicine. I still want to eat anything I want to eat any day, anytime. But guess what? I tell people, and I show this to my patients as well, I'm lazy. I cannot go to the gym. I can't. So what do? I find something in the house that I can use to exercise with on a daily basis. But when do I exercise? I exercise just before I take a shower every day. 5, 10, 15 minutes extra. And that's why when my sister was saying earlier on, look for what works for you. It's important. Everybody's different. Your timing, your circadian rhythm and all that is different. Look for what works for you and stick with it and continue. And like you said, Dr. Femi actually said so. There's a reward system that you can build into whatever you do. In the sense that sometimes when you cheat, do you earn it? Now, I do that, but when I do that and I eat a pizza, whatever sometimes, and I say, you know what? I'm challenging my system. Because at the end, you need to still challenge your immune system anyways, so that they really go on to work for you. So exercise is huge. The body eats, the muscles eat when we move them. And that's why a whole lot of people who exercise, the risk of developing diabetes is less. Studies have also shown that the risk of cancer is less by 10 to 15% for those who exercise. The risk of mental depression and Alzheimer's is reduced when we exercise. Coronary heart disease, we cannot overemphasize that. And that's why I build an exercise regimen every day when I talk to my patients. Please exercise. If we all can move, we'll keep all bad doctors away. Thank you and God bless.
Oh my gosh. Did you just say bad doctors? There are no bad doctors. Though. I heard that one. There are no bad doctors.
I know. I said that on purpose. I wanted you to say something.
You will keep doctors away, period. And that's what we want to do. We want you to be healthy. So you keep the doctors away. But the doctors are excellent. So thank you so much, Dr. Aluya. Femi, go ahead.
Yeah. So I have to wrap this up on my end shortly. First of all, I didn't even realize that. See, this was happening. You just pull us into your vortex, and like 2 hours passes. You know what I mean? Like, right?
I know. But Femi, there are some things that I need us to. That was what I was telling Dr. Aluya. I have some things here that are important that you need to quickly, brush on. Herman in London said he had found working on building up your back muscles helps with maintaining your fitness. How do you build up on your back muscles?
Yeah, no, you want to train your whole body. You don't want to focus on one. You're not wrong, but don't train your back over your legs or over your shoulders or over, you want to train your whole body. So whatever exercise regimen. Now, if you have a lower back issue and you want to target something that's going to help your lower back, then train your abdominals and your core and your lower back. But you don't want to just train your back. I'm not sure that's what he was saying, but just to be clear, you want to train your whole body. And then you go, you train, you have what they call a split when it comes to exercises. Maybe day 1, you'll do chest and shoulders. Day 2, you'll do legs and abs. Day 3, you'll do back, arms. And then, when you get back to after day 3, maybe take a day off and you go back to day 1. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you're building everything equally. You don't want to overemphasize one body part when it comes to.
I get it. So when your bro Femi, when he was home, and he used to take me to the gym. I used to go to the gym every day with Korede. That's what they did. They tell me what to do. Some days it's legs, arms. I used to lift weight that I don't think I could lift, 70, 90 pounds. Can you imagine?
I can imagine. I can.
They made me do it. Femi is tough. So I thought
you were lifting 3 pounds.
No, well, that's what I like to lift. But when I go to the gym with Femi, oh my gosh, he's a slave driver. So somebody private chatted me and said, is there a part 2 of this presentation? She said, today I got some friends to be on, but many more need to hear this. I can get at least 20 people on next week, Monday.
Are you talking about the exercise that we're doing?
Everything that we just talked about.
Oh, okay, I got you. Sorry.
But you know what? It's on YouTube. So they can watch it on YouTube. And please, I'm going to revert back to my sis who's texted this. Send them the link to please participate in this program, and they should send it out to other people. But the program itself, what we did today, this conversation, is on YouTube. It's streamed live right now, and they can tap into that. And Dr. Sylvie says, can you please ask about weight plateau? That is so important that we talk about. My eyes have been on that. Can you please address that?
I've been looking at that as well. So plateauing is a normal thing for people that are going through a weight loss journey. And because you plateau, it doesn't mean that you ended your weight loss. Your body just needs a little bit of time to recover. So for those of you that do hit a plateau, let's say you're on this journey and you're trying to lose 50, 60, 70 pounds and you lose 25 or 30 and you have more to lose, but your body's just not responding. The best thing you can do is just take a little bit of a break, maybe take a week off and just get away from your normal routine that has helped you lose that first 20 and just set your mind free a little bit, because stress and poor sleep can also lead to plateauing and the stopping of weight loss. But you'll get back on track. Your body will kick back in and you'll get back on course again. So don't get negative or down about plateauing. It's a normal thing. And the best thing you can do probably is just take a little bit of a break, usually about a week, maybe 2 maximum, and then get back on the horse again. And I'm sure that the plateau will come to an end and you'll start dropping again. Because like most things, nothing's really a straight slope down, right? There's valleys and dips and ups and downs, but over the long term, you're going this way. It's just not a straight slope down, right? It's you're down and you're up a little bit, and then you're down, and then you're up. That's just how the body works. So don't get discouraged by that.
Thank you so much. That is important. So Apostle Joshua Nathan Sr. said, what's the correlation between physical exercises and sleeping patterns? Thanks for the platform. He says this is his first time, but he enjoyed this thoroughly. Apostle, thank you so much for coming from Glory Center in Maryland. We appreciate you, sir. So Femi, what's the correlation?
Yeah, so I actually think, I think I even put an answer in the chat, but just short answer on this is that people that exercise sleep better. The body stores up energy. And if you're just a sedentary person, my guess is you're going to have some sleeping problems and you're going to have some fitness problems. And the truth of the matter is that people that exercise sleep better. People that sleep better perform better. People that perform better exercise. It's a closed loop, right? So that's the advice on exercise and the value of exercise. It just helps everything replenish, reset, restart, just improves everything.
Another thing is research has shown just a few years ago that the brain cleans itself out in sleep. And it is suggested that sleep be consistent. So if you go to bed at 10 and wake up at 4 in the morning, and that's normal for you, be consistent with that. If it's 9 to 9 in the morning, be consistent with it. But the brain cleans itself out in sleep. That's very important. So another empowering session, Dr. Fowley says, knowledge is power. Brother Femi, I am proud to call you my brother, she said. Thanks for making us proud. She said she will be sharing the link as well. May God continue to order your steps and bless the work of your hands. She's also a pastor, by the way, and the pastor's wife too. She says she's optimistic you will get the incubator by God's grace.
Thank you, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Famuyiwa. We appreciate you. And this brings us to Medical Mondays moment. I would like to appreciate Femi so much I heard through the grapevine that today, Femi's first daughter turned 18. And here he is on this platform to educate us, to impart into us. Go ahead, Femi. You want
Her birthday was on Friday, but I didn't want to hijack her birthday by me posting. You know what I mean? I wanted to be smart, so I gave her weekend and I posted it today. But her birthday was Friday, so we're good.
It was Friday.
Yes, Friday.
Still, thank you so much, and we wish her a very happy birthday. That's our Medical Mondays moment. You know, I was very excited when I got that text. That hey, I'm like, yes, you know, your bros always get your behind. So they snitched. Wish her a very happy birthday for us. We appreciate and we appreciate you. So Sister Natasha has one more before we round up. She says, what to do to get off a plateau on weight loss? I don't understand the question.
That's a question I just answered about.
He answered it, right?
Yeah, you just answered it.
I'm sorry, I missed it. Okay. I'll watch the video again. That's okay.
No. You don't have to.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Femi. Can you?
Yeah, no, just take a break. You know what I mean? Just keep doing what you've been doing. But I think a lot of times, like anything else, you know, the body needs a break sometimes. And although you're probably not done with your journey, getting off of your regimen for a week or so and then getting back on it to seeing if your body has adjusted is probably the best thing you can do when you see a little bit of a plateau. But plateaus are normal. Just once again, take a break, and then get back on course.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Femi. Is there a concluding statement you'd like to give us?
Yeah, you know what I want to do, Dr. O, is once I get the final study done, so it's really important that we get as many people to sign up before December 10th, because basically after December 10th, there's 21 days left in the year. And, you know, Christmas, I don't expect many people to. So this is the cool thing about this experiment. I'm not telling anyone to take a day off, but if they do, it's good information for me to see what people do of their own free will. You know what I mean? As long as, you know, I would love for everyone to do, you know, all 31 days in December for people that started on day one. For people that started today, I'd love for you to do 26 days in December. Probably not a realistic request, but if you skip a day and come back, that's almost just as good. You know, it just proves that even if you miss a day, you'll get back on course. So don't feel obligated to do anything that makes you uncomfortable. But if you can take that 10 seconds a day, if you can share it with 5 people, 3 people, 10 people, however many you want.
10 people.
10 people. It's going to be beneficial to me. All data in this case is good data. The only thing that would be disappointing is if people know the expectation and then opt out like 3 days later. That doesn't feel good. So that's the only thing that I would ask. If you do it, please stick with it. And you don't got to do it every single day, but do it as many days as you can. It ends at the end of the month.
Femi, stop. I disagree. Please do it every day. It's 2 seconds. Let's do this. We can. The way I work, I want to experience it. And so I'm very happy that I heard about this. I learned about this before last week, whatever I learned.
It was last week, yeah.
And I got on and I've been doing it. So I'm saying this from experience. Please, no day offs. Let's do this till the end of December. The text comes in. You take, honestly, if it's more than 2 seconds, text me and say, what are you talking about?
Okay, are you going to put it on our email? Are you going to send it on the email or what?
Well, I did text message. I don't know if they send it on email.
So that's a good question. So this is the thing, depending on where you guys are located, sometimes there's a loss. Like these are all SMS text reminders. It's just text reminders are more opened and they're easier, and people respond to those more than they do an email. Like people just junk an email. Let's see, email, they'll just delete it, right? So we have about 5% of our reminders don't go through. But usually at some point, it might miss a day, but then the next day you'll get one. We have a strategy for people that if it skips you, we send a weekly check-in and it says, you know, have you received your text message? And if you haven't, then you can opt to get it via email. Because sometimes some people have a filter on or a blocker, they don't realize it, they don't know how to unhook it. And I don't want to be your IT guy. You know, I can't solve everyone's like security things that they have on their phone. So sometimes people don't get the SMS messages. In that case, we'll allow you to use email, but email is such more of a pain than the text messages, I think.
The text messages are very simple. And Dr. Sylvie just wrote there that we will not opt out. So don't give us that option. We're
No,
not.
I'm not giving you the option. I'm
We opt in. We're in.
Okay.
We're in every day.
So Dr. O, what I'm going to do is when this exercise is done, I will gather the data and I will. Was it one of the doctors? Was it Dr. Aluya? Is that how you say his last name? Did he ask me? Yeah. Did he ask me about? Somebody made a statement about how, which place, which region will get the most people. I will tell you who did that.
No, brother said that.
Oh, okay, that's who it was. Okay.
Brother said it. No, he actually is on a campaign. He's saying that is sending this out to West Africa, and that West Africa is going to be your most number.
Yeah, it'll be really amazing to see from a global assessment perspective what countries and regions got involved. I know for a fact that I may have said this in the beginning. I know for a fact I already saw some people from China, India, Australia, New Zealand, obviously all over the US, a few people in Africa already, but I think this is going to really blow that out of the water.
Don't worry. I
have a quick question.
Go ahead.
Okay, my question is in regards to the messages or the login or like the input of your data. Can you do it by yourself without the reminder, or do you have to wait for the reminder before you fill in the data?
Yeah, you have to wait for the reminder. That's a very good question. So yeah, you have to wait for the reminder because of the way that it's set up, it's all automated. So yes, to not overspeak on this question, the simple answer is yes, you should wait for the text message.
That is true, but I just realized something, that my daily prompts comes from the same number. So I'm going to put here experiment or something.
But Dr. O, yours might come from the same number, but I'll tell you right now, that might not stay the same because it's a service through AWS. So it might be the same for you right now, but it could change. So yeah, just look out for the health. It'll say HealthReel. It'll say hello.
You're right. Femi, forget I said that.
Okay, yeah. It'll say hello, and it'll say your name, and it'll say the name of my company, and then once you see it once or twice, you'll know what it is when you see it. That way you won't junk it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're right.
You're fine. You're
because
fine.
I saw that on Thursday, I had one from there, and then today on that number. So the others must have been coming from
different places.
Other numbers.
Yeah.
And it says, hey, Toyin. So when it will say, maybe it says hello to you, Femi, but it says, hey, Toyin to me. So when I see that, I'm like, hey, my daily thing. Let me do this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we use hello, hi, and hey. We just kind of mixed it all up. So
it's really
another question. Sorry, Dr. O. Are you supposed to get like a text after signing up? Because I didn't get nothing.
No, you won't get a text.
You won't get a text till tomorrow.
Not today. Yeah, exactly. Tomorrow. Yes. Thanks, Dr.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. You won't get a text till tomorrow.
And
Great job,
Dr.
Mary.
O.
Great
Dr.
job.
O. I will. I would advise I think that Dr. Elijah was saying something like an intro. I did post it on my status while we were at a meeting. So it was
something like an intro. Like I said, write his name, Femi Ayanbadejo, was with Ravens. That's my thing. Super Bowl winner. It's one of ours. Let's do this.
Or you can put I'm a digital health expert and I went to Hopkins and I'm doing an experiment. You could put that on there too.
It's a digital health expert.
So I will have to
grad.
So I did my MBA. I love being called a doctor, but I'm not a doctor. I just have a graduate degree. But maybe one day I'll go back just so I can be called. Yeah.
You have a graduate degree. You have a graduate degree. It's not just that is work.
Yeah, no, it is.
Johns Hopkins, you put in the work.
Yeah.
It's not junk.
I think I have to go get a doctorate now, though. I just have to go do it now.
You have to, because on Medical Mondays, everybody calls you doctor.
Everybody, yeah, exactly.
It will be doctor. Okay, thank you. It was a very eye-opening and interesting and fascinating. It was well presented, and thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And till we see next week, everybody, please keep safe. The flu is raging. COVID is still there. Please keep safe. Be sensible. with what you do. I'm going to send this link also by email I'm shooting out by email to everybody, so that if it's better to send it by email, you can. And I'm going to put some, the header in my email so that you can just forward that if, you choose to do that. And you can copy it and put it in your text also. So I'm going to do that now in a few minutes. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you, Femi.
Good night,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Night,
I really
everyone.
appreciate it.